One thing every successful individual, leader, and entrepreneur have in common is a consistent morning routine. Having a simple, easy to implement routine enables you to start your day with a sense of purpose, accomplishment, clarity, and direction. For this reason, I have prepared for you a free guide with an easy to follow 5 minutes morning routine and a tracking template where you can document your progress day by day. I've been receiving messages from some of you already telling me how this habit has transformed your days for the better. Download this 5 minutes morning routine right now by clicking the link on my show notes so you can start your day on purpose. I want to start today's podcast episode with a story. It was back in 2013 when I had started my first corporate job in the oil and gas industry as a chemical engineer. And that first job, it was as a processing engineer in a refinery. And I did it for around a year and a half. And I realized that honestly, even though I was considered very successful and even though it was like an amazing job with a great salary and with a prestigious company, I was not feeling that level of fulfillment that I was seeking. And it was one of the first times where I realized that everything that I had worked for the last 5 years and a half in college with the many internships I did and everything else, it was not it. So I started to dig deeper within myself, right? Like, what was I looking? What are the things that I really enjoyed? And understanding emotions, helping people with the mental aspect, and even trying to gain clarity on my purpose. Those were the things that really energized me and really fired me up. So according to that, right, I was trying to find new opportunities in my corporate career that would be in alignment with those values and that would be in alignment with what truly made me feel a sense of meaning in this world. And I remember just talking to my supervisor at the moment, and she was so nice. She told me, "Hey, I'll be happy to help you out. But you gotta find the organization that you think you're gonna align the most with you, because all I know is this organization, the refining organization." And I was like, okay, awesome, challenge accepted. This is my journey. This is my path. So I gotta take ownership and control of it and really talk to different people across different organizations and see what I resonate the most with. I wanted to be people focused. And that's the only thing I had in my mind. I wanted to be people focused. I want to be the next organization that I work in corporate to have a priority around personal development, right? Around people development, around professional development, everything related to people. And I remember just contacting different people that I knew through the employee resource group, the ERGs. Those are groups focused on different groups of diversity, right? It's an inclusion and diversity initiative. So I remember just contacting everyone I knew. I talked to people in HR. I talked to people in public affairs. I talked to people in the projects world. Oh my God. I talked to at least 7 or 10 organizations. I talked to someone in supply chain procurement, and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. This is the organization that I connect with the most. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, but my gut tells me that this is it. And I remember just going into the intranet. The intranet is internal internet for the company. And I just typed procurement, supply chain, within the corporation. And the first slide deck that popped up, it was a people development deck. And I was like, oh my God, this is my sign. Because I was just so focused on getting into an organization that really valued people, that really cared about that development. Because I knew even in early stages of my corporate career that one day I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur who would help people achieve their highest potential, who would help people grow into ways that they didn't know they could grow, which is what I'm doing right now. I mean, I see the transformation in my clients all the time because they are taking action. They are taking action and showing in ways they haven't shown up before in order to get results. They have never gotten results. So that really drives me. And I remember thinking to myself, this is it. I asked the person who I had interviewed, hey, would you give me the name of your supervisor? Because I need to connect your supervisor to my supervisor. So after I made my decision, and honestly, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know what supply chain was about, okay? I did know a little bit, but not much, but I just knew that that was it, right? Because the values, based on what I saw, really aligned with my values, right? So I went to my supervisor, gave her the name of the supervisor, and within 6 months, I was in the supply chain organization. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it. I made it happen, because it was really hard in the refinery that I was to actually transfer to other organization. Sometimes you would think that because you are within one corporation, it's pretty easy to go from organization to organization, but it requires so much, and so many people, they are not able to do it. So I was just so grateful and lucky that I did it. Now, in the process of transitioning, I was talking to a couple of the engineers who were my friends in the refinery, and some of them were telling me, hey, Yanet, you know that you're not going to make as much money in supply chain that just staying here, right? Like, this is something for you to know. And I was like, you know what? We make 6 figures already out of college. I think I'm going to be fine. I'm just going to make it happen. I'm going to focus on learning what supply chain is about. I'm going to focus on doing something that I love more than what I was doing here. And I'm going to focus to do the best job I can, so I can show up and I can really get to the, highest performance that I was striving. Because when you do something that you love, you show up differently. Like, your mindset, your body, it's just different, right? So that's why it's so important to start finding that intersection between success and fulfillment. I truly believe you can be successful and you can be really fulfilled in whatever you want to do. There are many people that have this limiting belief that you cannot have money doing what you love, that you cannot achieve financial abundance doing what you love. But when you look at the world, many people have done it. So why not believe that you can do it too? And I remember listening at these conversations, and I'm like, the only thing I want right now, I earn good money. The only thing I want right now is to be happy and be fulfilled and be in an environment that is inducive of my growth, right? So 6 months, I joined, loved it. I didn't even know what SAP was. There were so many things within supply chain I didn't know, but I worked hard and I was so passionate about it. Even though I didn't know, I was like, oh, I like this. Like, working with suppliers, negotiating, setting contracts, working with customers, and make sure, we are meeting their needs. This is perfect. This is what I was looking for. And just understanding the bigger picture of what the organization was about just created within me a fire and a passion to learn everything. And I just loved it. It was very data-driven. It was very relationships-oriented. And I just continued growing in the organization and doing well year after year. And I remember 5 years in, I was talking to someone who actually decided to stay in the refinery where I started originally. And I was talking to this person, and this person, for whatever reason, she told me her salary, and mine was higher than this person that had stayed in the job she wasn't happy and fulfilled about. Whenever a lot of people were telling me that I would never get to that place, that I would earn more than the people who stayed back. And I'm telling you this story not to impress you, but impress upon you that alignment attracts wealth. That alignment attracts abundance. And it wasn't on the first year after I transitioned from refining to supply chain that I was earning more than other people who stayed back, it wasn't on the second year. It wasn't on the third. It was probably on the fourth, and for sure on the fifth year. Why? Because I stayed there. I decided to take action. I decided to show up in different ways because I was loving what I was doing. I was enjoying the relationships I was building. I was really buying into the people development side of the organization, and I was highly involved. So many people are gonna project their fears into your journey. So many people are, not because they want you to do less, because they care about you. What you gotta understand is that their fears don't have to be yours. And everyone is doing the best with the resources they have. They don't know that they are projecting this onto you. But you gotta be that person that believes in yourself and that trust that whenever you're in alignment and whenever you do things that you love and you enjoy, everything else will fall into place. Just like what happened even with my transition in my corporate organization from engineering to supply chain. A lot of people didn't believe I was gonna make it. And I ended up even attracting more financial abundance than the one who stayed doing what they didn't like at all. Again, alignment attracts wealth and abundance. And sometimes, and this is not a 0 to 100 situation, okay? It doesn't mean that whenever you make a decision that is aligned, everything will change. The way you feel inside will change. And there is this other element that you gotta really harness, is that belief in self and that faith and hope that things are gonna happen for you. I was reading this morning Atomic Habits, a book that I've been recommended so many times, but I haven't picked it up yet until today, this morning, because my husband is also reading it. He's not reading it, he's listening at the audio version. And I decided to start listening while I was walking our puppy Monk. And I'm loving this book because he talks about the importance of showing up every day, even when you're not seeing a change, even when you're not manifesting your desired outcome immediately. And around this topic, he had a quote that really caught my attention. And it's a quote that I think I'm going to put somewhere in this room. Let me read you this quote. It's from Jacob Rees. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stone cutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet, at the 101st blow, it will split in two. And I know it was not the last blow what did it, but all that had gone before. I'm going to read it once again because it's kind of long. And I stuttered there for a second. When nothing seems to help, I go and look at a stone cutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet, at the 101st blow, it will split in two, and I know it was not the last blow that did it, but all that had gone before. Wow. So many times we are working in our goals, right? We start showing up, going to the gym. We start making decisions that are more aligned. And we immediately, the first day when we start seeing it, we are like, why I'm not getting the results already, right? Is this desire for immediate satisfaction? Why is it not here? Why I haven't lost 20 pounds? Why I haven't lost 10 pounds? I've been working out for the last week, right? We all have been there. I'm raising my hand with you. Why, if I transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, why I'm not a millionaire already? Okay, we know why. It takes years, right? So many times we want these immediate results without remembering that this is all about the journey. That growth, habits, abundance, alignment, it's all about showing up consistently, even in the moments where you don't feel like it. Most importantly, in the moments when you don't feel like it. Because it is so easy for me to record a podcast episode when I feel inspired and motivated and ready to go than to record a podcast episode when I'm not feeling like it. But I know I've decided to show up for all of you and for myself. Those are the moments that are really the decisive ones. And even in the moments when you don't feel like it, I want you to remember to show up, because even if you're not seeing the result is happening. The result is there. And one day, just with this stone cutter, the rock is gonna crack. The breakthrough is gonna happen. The tricky thing is that we don't know when, but we gotta have that faith that whatever we are doing in our journey is in alignment. Because when you show up in alignment consistently, even when you don't feel like it, that's when the breakthroughs happen. So many times it happens just the day that you're like, I'm done. This is it. But you gotta remind yourself, and this is one thing that I use in the moments where this entrepreneurial journey has been so challenging. I just remind myself, one more day. Just one more day. Because sometimes when we are overwhelmed internally, everything seems worse than what it is. So if you wait one more day and you really show up again in an aligned way, you show up one more day, you're gonna start realizing that it's not as bad as it seemed the day before. It's a lot better. And then you get that motivation to continue moving forward one more day. And remember, just like the stone cutter, the first 100 times when he or she was hammering away, nothing was happening. The first 100 times, nothing was happening. It was in the 101st time when the stone cracked, when the rock cracked. This is what life is about. There is also another analogy that I had heard in a book once too, about a piñata. Right? Results or transformation is like a piñata. Have you ever been in a party with a piñata? I haven't been in years. I don't remember. Maybe when I was in Mexico. I actually lived in Mexico City for 3 years after my mom and I left Cuba. And when you have a piñata and you have people with bats, they'll hit it several times and no candy is coming out, and they continue hitting it. There is nothing. What is going on? The piñata is not cracking. You continue hitting it, and there is a hit coming from your bat where the breakthrough happens, and you hit that piñata and all the candy comes out. That is a hit that we want to have since day one. When we don't recognize that hit takes time to get, that breakthrough takes time to transform, right? To show up, to manifest. But let me tell you something. Something that I know is that alignment breeds abundance. Alignment attracts wealth. Whenever you continue aligning with your heart, with your dreams, with your gut, what feels right to you, as long as you're having an aspiration that you're walking towards, it's a matter of time where you're going to be attracting and manifesting everything you want to be doing, and all the things you deserve to have. So my friend, keep hanging, keep pushing forward, and think to yourself one more time. And in the times that seem challenging, remind yourself, just like the stone cutter, the first 100 times may not show, but there is going to be one after that one where the rock will crack, where your breakthrough is going to happen, where you're going to lose that weight, where you're going to find that career, where that business is going to finally become profitable. You're going to find that partner, just whatever that is for you. You're closer than what you think. I hope this episode was super helpful. Please share with your friends, with your family. Rate the podcast. Rating the podcast really helps me to reach a wider audience. If you really enjoyed it, please give me those 5 stars. If you want to comment, great. If not, it doesn't matter. But please show up for this podcast, because I hope this is adding value, right? So my dream is to reach as many people as I can. Thank you so much for being here, for showing up for yourself, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.